Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live. The 15th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup was played today between India and England, which England went on to win by 4 wickets, registering their first win in their World Cup campaign. Batting first, India were bundled out for a modest 134 in 36.2 overs, thanks to Charlie Dean, who wreaked havoc with the ball, picking up her career best figures of 4 for 23 in 8.2 overs. For India, Smriti Mandhana top-scored with 35 runs, and there were some useful contributions in the middle order by Richa Ghosh, who chipped in with 33, and Jhulan Goswami, who mustered 20. In reply, England chased down the target in just 31.2 overs to win the match by 4 wickets. Captain Heather Knight top-scored with an unbeaten 53 and received good support from the vice-captain Nat Siver, who chipped in with 46 ball 45. For India, Meghna Singh was the pick of the bowlers as she picked up 3 for 26 in her 7.2 overs. So after this match, we can see that England, the England have won 1 out of the 4 matches, while India have won 2 out of the 4 matches. Also in this match, we could see that there were some milestones being reached by the players. Jhulan Goswami became the first player to complete 250 ODI wickets. Then we had Anya Shrubsole, who went past 100 ODI wickets, and Nat Siver, who completed 500 runs in Women's Cricket World Cup. Now ahead of us, we have yet another exciting contest. It is between hosts New Zealand and South Africa. Now, to talk more about this match, I have with me Dinesha Devnarayan, uh, Dhanush Lavanya, Urvi Shah, and Shan Mayers. I think she'll be joining us shortly. So Dinesha Devnarayan is a former captain of South Africa who has played more than 50 international matches for the Proteas. And since 2020, she has been the head coach of South Africa Women's Under-19 cricket team. Then we have Dhanush Lavanya, who is a content writer at Female Cricket, and Urvi Shah, who is a mental health facilitator and an avid cricket writer. So I welcome all of you to Female Cricket Live.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Great. Okay. Yes. I think Shan is trying to join us for this conversation. Okay, so meanwhile, we can get going with you, Dinesha. Okay, so Shan has joined us, so I'll quickly introduce Shan to all of you. So Shan Mayers has been playing cricket for Zimbabwe for 12 years, and at present, she has been playing for Central Gauteng Lions women's cricket team in South Africa for the last 3 years. So it is our pleasure to have you, Shan, on our show. All right. So, Dinesha, I'm sure that you must be pretty happy with South Africa's performance. 3 matches, 3 wins in this World Cup. They are simply going great guns. Now they are taking on hosts New Zealand tomorrow, that is 17th of March. So, what do you think will be their approach? And of course, if you can throw some light on South Africa's performance in the last match that they had against England, which they won by 3 wickets.
Yeah, what a match. I think it was a fantastic match, actually. I had no doubt that we were going to win that game. I did say in our previous conversation, we just need to stick to our basics really well. We need to do it to the best of our ability. Um, I'm still not happy with our batting department. The one positive that I did see was intent. We did look to hit the bowlers up front, which was good. Um, I just I just feel like we're in a really good space and we're playing fantastic cricket. And yesterday, I mean the day we played that game, and you could see the emotion after the match. There was true emotion, and that didn't come from the fact that we beat England. The stats was against us. The odds we see South Africa versus England was against us. First time in a World Cup, in an ODI World Cup, it was fantastic to see, and I think that's where it is that we know that we are capable of so much, and it's just about, can we do the basics well? Can we stick to our game plan, and can we see this through? I thought it was a fantastic effort. I mean, they made the whole country proud, but it wasn't a fact of, I don't know if we're going to make it, and it was regardless of whether England was playing good cricket. Um, I saw that England, they brought in another spinner, and I thought it was a good choice. I thought when she was in the attack, we might not, it might not be that good of a chase. But look, I would have with a total like that, I would have loved to be maybe 4 wickets down, especially if we see the likes of how Australia is playing at the moment, and if we say we want to win this World Cup, we've got to take those aspects into consideration.
Yeah, totally. Like uh, you mentioned that South Africa is in a very good space and they pretty much won the last game in a very great manner. Tanush, I would like to know your thoughts on how New Zealand, who have lost the last game in of like 141 runs, if I'm not wrong. So, what area in batting do they need to address immediately? Like, we know that their batting fell short on that day, but what exactly is the area that they really, really need to address?
First of all, I have to say that South Africa are giving some box office matches in this World Cup till now. All the three matches that they have played have been really interesting, and it's nice to see that there have been competitive cricket when it comes to South Africa matches, and it's been really good. And moving on to New Zealand's performance against Australia, we were discussing in our preview discussion that I feel like if Australia are capable of getting one or two early wickets, they are going to take the rest of the eight easily without much effort, and that is what actually happened, and that is what manifested at the end of the day. And unfortunately, New Zealand never looked in the game against Australia. They were just blown out by the conditions. Even though it's their home country, they weren't able to adjust themselves to the requirements. They had a target out there, which, if I'm not wrong, it's 270 is what the target was, and they couldn't pace themselves up into the situation. Unfortunately, the openers never stepped up. Amelia Kerr has had a very average World Cup so far. Amy Satterthwaite tried her best from our side, but it was not enough at the end of the day because she wasn't getting any valuable support from the other end, and that is why they just weren't in the game from the very beginning with the bat, and even with the ball, it wasn't the best from them, and they will be really they will be unhappy because with that performance. And now with three more games left, they have to play England after South Africa tomorrow, so they have to make sure that they win tomorrow's game, and it's a very important one for them.
Absolutely. I think, as Dhanush has rightly mentioned, that New Zealand will have to win the match against South Africa tomorrow. But we all know that South Africa has been blowing in red hot form, we can say. And Laura Wolford, who has been the leading run getter with close to 200 runs in three matches, averaging more than 60. I think she has 193 runs, including two half centuries. So, Dinesha, according to you, what is the secret to this success of Laura Wolford?
Yeah, it's a good question, but it's really a simple answer. She's a professional at what she does. If you see this girl train, she's got thought process. So in terms of tactical, technical, mental preparation, this girl checks all the boxes. And I've had many opportunities to work with her and see how she runs a net session or what she would like to achieve. And she's so specific in what she wants to do. She maintains on she works really hard on her strengths. She does. She's so sometimes she's too critical of herself, but I feel like that's a really good thing as well, because she wants to always keep getting better at the game. The product we see on TV is just like, wow. I mean, we talk about a lot of Wolford's cover drives and just a technique ability to hit the ball in areas even of good length balls. But the way she carries herself out, I think it's so key. And I like to use the word professionalism because what you see on the field is what you get out there. In the nets, the amount of work she puts into a game. She's one of those players that just wants to bat. She could bat for the whole day, 8 to 5. If that was a job, she'd do it the whole time. I know that. But sorry, I was just getting a call. But what I appreciate, like just watching a player like that, is that they don't leave any stone unturned. So she could be in the nets, line drives, straight drives. What she still has to do a top up on a cut shot, on a pull shot. And she's never satisfied. And only the moment she gets out is when she's satisfied. And it's that type of temperament which is very difficult to find in the women's game, because we'll have a 2-hour net session. We don't really know what we're working on. But what I like about Wolfie is that we go into a net, coach. I want to work on the on drive. I want to do it back of a length. I want to go the ball swinging in. I want a ball that's not swinging. I mean, her work ethic is just incredible. And apart from that, I think her mental capacity to obtain pressure and execute in match situations is outstanding. And what I like about her, she's young. She's such a good role model to players that's probably older than her. But just the way she goes about her business, how she's so hungry. She just wants to score runs. But I just love her work ethic. And there's a process. I want to do A, B, and C. I'm not going to get to D unless I do A, B, and C. And I think that's fantastic. for women cricketer to do.
Yeah, totally. It's just so much insightful to just hear you talk. Uh, Moving on to Shane. I am sorry if I didn't get your pronunciation right. Can you just can you hear me,
Sorry, it's Sean. Could you repeat the question?
Sean? Yeah. Hi,
Yes.
Sean. I would just like to know your thoughts that since we know that South Africa is in a red hot form, like Julie mentioned, 3-3. So, do you see any concern areas that they need to really be careful about playing against New Zealand tomorrow, the host uh, country, familiar with the conditions?
I do think that South Africa needs to be wary of Susie Bates, Sophie Devine. They are very experienced cricketers and will come out guns blazing. They need to win this match in order to stay in the World Cup and progress in the World Cup. And they know conditions very well. If they Africa will have to stay kept that they are kept quiet throughout the game. But also at the same time, I do hope the South Africans use a lot more variation. We are across this World Cup that slow spin bowlers are getting a lot of purchase from the wickets and getting a lot of success. So use the variations. We saw Marizan Cup using quite a few variations. So that would be key for the South Africans against the host nation.
Absolutely. I think as Shan just touched upon Marizan Kaap, and we all know how brilliant she was the other day against England, picked up that 5 wicket haul, her maiden 5 wicket haul in ODI career, and she was absolutely phenomenal. So, Dhanush, moving on to you, we all know that South Africa have a superb bowling attack thanks to Shabnim Ismail, Marizan Kaap, Ayabonga Khaka, of course, and the spinners in Sunelu and Chloe Tryon. But we also know that New Zealand have good batters. Now, given the fact that they are going to play at the Eden Park in Hamilton, which is a batting paradise, do you expect New Zealand, if they get a chance to bat first, putting on tons of runs against South Africa tomorrow?
It will be definitely a great battle of New Zealand's batting, the top four of New Zealand, and the three extraordinary pacers in South Africa, Ismail, Kaka, and Marizan Kaap. They have been exceptional over the last three games. Especially Ismail and Ayobonga Kaka showed the performance in the first two games, and in the third match, Marizan Kaap came up and she took a 5 It was just excellent to see these three fast bowlers of South Africa leading from the front. And it is going to be awesome to see how the New Zealand top four, whom we have been discussing, are one of the most lethal top fours in this tournament. Certainly, they haven't been at their best over the last couple of games, but certainly they are capable of making a big comeback. They have the reputation behind them. They have the experience behind them. Especially Susie Bates is someone that I'll be looking forward because apart from the match against Bangladesh, where she scored a 70, she hasn't scored much against India or Australia or against West Indies in the other three games. So she will be someone whom I'll be looking forward to because she's in a pretty much similar space when it comes to how Heather Knight was coming into this match. She was also not having good runs, and today she had a very good she had a very good performance, 53 not out. So I expect a similar kind of a performance from Susie Bates because if she gets on going from the very beginning of the match and she can stay at one end and anchor the innings and make sure that with the Hamilton wicket being so good for the batters, it is going to be important for her to stay there for long in order to make sure New Zealand scores somewhere around 270 to 300 at least.
Yeah. So now that we are talking about batting, Dinesh, I would like to ask you something. Since you mentioned about how batting still remains an area of concern for South Africa, do you feel bringing in any change in the batting order of the players would help in resolving or coming close to solving the batting issue that is being a concern for South Africa, especially the middle order?
Yeah, I don't think batting changes. I think the big thing for me is accountability and responsibility. If you look at where these batters been batting, there's no new changes. I mean, apart from maybe Tasman Brits plays provincial cricket, opens the batting, but I would say in all the games she played, she either opened or three, which was in the first 10 overs. So that's not a massive role change. If you look at the number of caps we have in the team, we have a lot of international caps if we put all our senior players together, and they've been batting in those positions for a long time now. So it just boils down for me is accountability and responsibility. If we know we're batting in the top order, what is our role there? What should I be? What I need to do is going to put the team in a better position. Same with the middle orders. I would love to see us running between the wickets a lot harder. Put some pressure onto the fielders, because we haven't had a game yet, barring Pakistan's game, where a, a run of two might have changed the game, you know? And I hope that we having discussions like that, they're leading up to where we are in this World Cup, because we're in an excellent position. You know, it's going to get harder from here on, and we need to be taking care of those things. So I wouldn't say let's maybe change this batter into that position. I would just like to say that, if I'm a number four batter, I need to run well between the wickets. I needed to take the strike well. And when do I go for it? Because it feels like we just have one set game plan as a batter out there in the middle, and we sort of stick with it. Apart from Wolfie, after she gets a 50, you can see the change. She just wants to kick on after that there. So apart from her, I don't see anyone else in the batting department do that. Touch wood, but what happens now if Wolfie doesn't get runs? Who's gonna do that for us? So, we've got to make sure that we're still preparing in a way where we're still not playing our best cricket. We're winning, that's fantastic. But where's that responsibility coming to? What is accountable for me as a number 4, 5, 6 batter? And when do I take the team to the next level?
Think yes, as Dinesha is talking about South Africa's batting, and we all know that Laura Wilford has been contributing majorly for South Africa's success, and it will be important for other batters like Liz Lee, of course, and Minion Dupree, who's the leading run getter for South Africa, to chip in this World Cup. So, Dhanush, given the fact that South Africa have some good batters in their lineup, and New Zealand, of course, have good bowlers, the main bowler that we all will be looking forward from the New Zealand perspective is going to be Leah Tahuhu. She has already picked up 9 wickets in this World Cup campaign so far, but in the last two matches, we have been discussing that whether she should open the bowling or she should bowl in the middle overs. But New Zealand have gone ahead and have opted to bowl Leah Tahuhu in the middle overs. Do you think they'll follow the same strategy going into the match against South Africa tomorrow, or do you see Leah Tahuhu opening the bowling tomorrow?
I feel that they will continue her using her as the first change or in the middle overs, especially because she has really had two good matches against India and Australia with the ball, picking 3 wickets in both the games. And the way she has looked, when it comes to when it is compared to the first two games, she has looked way more confident with her line and length. She has been really executing her thoughts and in the bowling, and she has been really good when it comes to making sure not conceding as many runs in the middle overs. Certainly, Australia were able to score some runs due to the good batting unit that they had, but she still had the capacity to take those 3 wickets against Australia. So I don't feel that they will need there is a need for any change. And in the opening bowlers as well, Jessica Kerr and Hannah Rowe, who opened the bowling in the previous match, and they were pretty good. They gave like 37 in the first 7 or 8 overs, and based on the track that they were playing in, that would be good. And as far as they are playing in Hamilton, if I'm not wrong, tomorrow, so they played India already out there, and Leah Tahu got 3 for 17 against India, and she will be expecting to perform in the similar fashion. And I don't see her coming back into the opening bowlers or anything. She will be the one handling the 10 to 40 over slot.
Yeah. So, Dinesha, uh, I would like to ask you, now that it's come to bowling, do you see the bowling attack to be a spin heavy or pacer heavy when it comes to opening for the bowling? Like we know that New Zealand has the likes of Sophie Devine, Susie Bates, Emmy Satterthwaite, and Amelia Kerr in the top order. So, do you see a combination of both or one specific bowling style coming into picture
Yeah, I
while
still
opening?
think. Yeah, I still think we're gonna go pace heavy. And I'll tell you why. Marizan's been bowling well. Shibnam's been bowling well. Ayabonga Kaka has been bowling well. Let's not forget about Masabata class. Like she sort of gets shadowed by those three bowlers. But technically, if you look at all the games and her figures, technically she's been a really good asset. And doesn't her success also lies in the wicket column with the other bowlers? I think that's still going to be we're still going to go that for. And between Sunay and Chloe, someone there's going to take maybe a little bit more responsibility of spin, because we're going to play against a unit that's going to like the pace and they're going to score off the pace. Has our spinners been put under pressure yet to to bowl under pressure? I'm not too sure. So I would like to say, I would even like to think it would be the same team going in, but that four pace bowlers, I think they're doing a fantastic job, and that's going to be the same arsenal we're going to use against New Zealand. And between Sine and Chloe, between those two bowlers, someone's got to give us at least the 8 overs, either going for less runs, or they're going to need to be a wicket taker at the end of the day. Where do they fit in? If you look at the long term of the competition, that's another story to discuss. But I still think we're going to go full pace. Majority of the overs will be bowled by the pace bowlers. And also I like the variations towards the end that Marizan did. I think Marizan was so successful on that day because of the variations she bowled. She wasn't bowling a one pace line and length, hit our hard lengths and go. She made the batters guess, and England was set in score. So if that situation happens again, I would love to see, especially when this the swing on the ball is not as prominent as it was as a new ball. Can we go crossing? Can we go cutters? And what is the wicket telling us to do? So if we can do that with the pace attack that we have, I think we'll be pretty successful on the day.
Okay. And now if we look at the head-to-head statistics between these two teams, New Zealand and South Africa, they have played 16 ODIs against each other, New Zealand winning 11, South Africa winning 5. So Dhanush, do you think New Zealand will be more confident when they take on South Africa tomorrow, or will they be under pressure given the fact that South Africa has been on a 3-match winning streak?
It is an important game for both the teams, I'll say. As far as being under pressure, for sure, New Zealand must be, because they haven't utilized the home conditions to their best. They lost 2 of their 4 matches. And if they lose tomorrow, they have a match against England, and then there is Pakistan. And England is also another team who are like in a situation where it's do or die every single game. And they will be coming all guns blazing, irrespective of which team they are facing. So it's important for New Zealand to win tomorrow's game, and if they manage that, even if they lose against New Zealand, they have the confidence to beat Pakistan, and they will be having 4 wins, and that will be enough for them to make it into the playoffs, into the semifinals, I feel. And South Africa as well, they will be hoping that they win tomorrow's match, because if it's 4-0, we are damn sure they are going to end up in the top 4 for sure. And then after that, they are having India and Australia to face. So it's also important for them to win tomorrow's game and seal that spot in the semifinals.
Right. So, Dinesha, before we start taking questions, I want to ask you that do you think South Africa is going to win tomorrow and make their place fixed in the semi-final slot?
Yeah, I have to. I have to. Apart from just being patriotic to my country, we've been playing really good cricket. I can't hide away from that. We've been playing really good cricket, and I would say yes, there's a little bit of confidence into our camp with the way we've been winning. But I just hope that we don't be too complacent in the opposition we're playing. I mean, the host nations, it's never a nice thing to play. But I'm fairly confident we'll see this one through, and we will book a spot in the top 4.
Right. So far, Australia has seen 4 wins on the trot, and let us see if South Africa also go to equal Australia's streak of wins. All right. So we are getting some questions from our fans. If we can take them one by one. Okay, Tanvi Shah is asking, how do you feel New Zealand can do better at capitalizing on good starts from their bowlers? Dhanush, would you like to take this up?
It's all about making sure they bowl the right line and lengths. It's the textbook definition of how to make sure you start off well in a match. So power play overs, they have to make sure that they are they have that in mind that there are only two fielders outside the 30-yard circle, and they have to make sure that line and lengths are so good that it either edges and goes into the wicket keeper or into any fielders in the 30-yard circle, rather than going over the 30-yard circle or going over mid on or mid off region. So they have to be tight in their lines, bore it stump to stumps, and that is more than enough, is what I feel. And Dinesha will be also agreeing with my words if I'm not wrong.
All right. Okay. Can we have the next question? Okay, Sonal Shah is asking, it's a question for you, Dinesha. What do you think will work better against the likes of Sophie Devine, Susie Bates, and Amy Satterthwaite in the top order? Spin attack or pace attack?
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant question, and tell you why, because they are key players. They're going to get the runs on the board. I highly doubt it, and it's no disrespect to the New Zealand batters. Just in terms of run machines and a little bit of Amelia Kerr, I think she's in good form at the moment. Um, I would say very intelligent pace bowling. You know, I don't think we should get them out. I think we should keep them quiet because they're attacking batters. All three of them really wants to get off the mark, really wants to feel bat on ball, and wants to look for boundaries. If we're intelligent enough as bowlers, and if we six balls in an over, hopefully no extras, work for three dots and let the other three go for singles. I think the batters will themselves get them out for a bowler that they feel that they can attack. And yeah, as I said, with the new ball, look to swing it and get your slips into play. And then after that, not lots of variation, maybe one variation, use it well, but make sure you have your field set for that. But I just think against those batters, pace attack, intelligent bowling, and especially with the left-hander there, I think around the wicket is a great option, and I hope that we utilize it if Amy Satterthwaite tries to get off to a good start.
Right. All right. It will be interesting to see if South Africans are able to restrict the power-packed batting lineup of New Zealand tomorrow. Okay, can we have the next question? Okay, Wheel of Time has a question for us. This tournament is proving to be one of the most fluid competitive World Cup in sports. Does the panel feel 3 out of the 4 spots is still up for grabs? Dhanush, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, definitely. Apart from Australia, we don't. We still have three more spots left for sure. With the way South Africa are playing, if they win tomorrow's game, they are for sure going to be the second team qualifying. And it's from the beginning of the tournament, the parameter was simple. If you have to win 4 of the 7 games, and you will easily make it through into the semifinals, is what the idea was, and that's pretty much how the teams have been playing. Australia, they are really looking unstoppable. They have been the perfect side when it comes to performance, both with bat and ball and in field. And with the way South Africa are playing and winning those crunch moments of the matches, they have the capacity of winning games when it is tight. So I feel that if they manage to win tomorrow's game, they will be extremely happy, and they will be the second team going. And the other two spots are still, there is a lot of helter skelters out there. Team India has a good chance. New Zealand has a good chance as well. And then there is West Indies, who have had 2 bad matches, but they can come back and they can step up as well. I hope that and in the meantime, there is England as well, who have been who are the side we are going to see make sure that they will make sure that they will win the rest of the 3 matches and make it into this semifinals miraculously, is what they will be expecting. The fans will be expecting of England. So let us see how this whole competition goes off, because the first half has been really good. Excited to see the second half.
Absolutely. Great, great. All right. Can we have the next question? Okay, Ray Blaze is asking, South Africa always seems to just win, whether against great opposition or lower ranked opposition. Will that come back to bite them? Dinesha, your thoughts on this?
I hope nothing comes back to bite them. I look. I think. Look. Remember our first 2 games, Bangladesh, Pakistan. I said in those discussions, I would have liked us to have a more dominant performance, but we got the win. We played against England, never beat them in a World Cup ODI game before. We beat them. So I would hope nothing comes back to bite us. I just want us to play consistent cricket. So I don't want us to take any team for granted, And but at the same time, I also don't want us to put another team on a pedestal. We treat every single opposition as the next one we played or the one we're about to play. We'll play good cricket, We're good custodians of the game. We respect the game, and we want to put a showcase out there. We want to put a brand of cricket that everyone wants to be part of, that loves and enjoys, and regardless of the opposition. If you take care in house and what we do out there, we stick to our KPIs, we stick to our key performance areas, the results should be irrelevant. We've just got to have a process, and we make sure that we're consistent with that.
Totally. Consistency will be the key to success in this World Cup. All right. Okay. Can we have the next question? Chaitanya Rajhans is asking, New Zealand batting is so strong. They are genuine competition for Australia and India. Dhanush, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. They have a very good, talented top four. We have talked plethora of times about how good that it is a mix of experience, youth, and firepower. So they have it in their top four for sure. But New Zealand has this period of time, or has this thing where they play against teams like Australia. They always tend to lose the match in a very comprehensive way. And if they lose the first two wickets, the rest of the side falls by itself. I see that happening with the men's team as well when they face team like Australia and India, and that is what happened in the previous game for them against Australia as well. So definitely they have to step up against big teams in the big games. Tomorrow is a big game for them as well, and I hope that their batting order steps up and scores to the standards that they are set up.
All right. Okay. Can we have the next question? Daniel Kondar is asking, my question to all, how should South Africa tackle Kerr sisters? Dinesha, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, I mean, they quality players. I think the end of the day is how much do we want to score from them. So if we look at New Zealand's balance in the team, we look at their bowlers, where are we going to get our runs from? So who's the bowler we willing to sacrifice just maybe more dots against them, but not wicket taking deliveries, and who we looking to attack? I think once we identify that balance, then you sort of understand when these type of bowlers come on, where we're looking to hit them, what's their variation, and do we pick it? Um, and yeah, I mean, I think they both can be match winners. I think more Amelia Kerr, especially the variation she had. I thought she was brilliant with it. I don't think she's been rewarded enough for it, but I think her execution on it was fantastic. So yeah, I think it's just about not tackling them. I don't think we should hit them out the park every ball. I think that would be silly. But we need to get runs from them. How are we going to get runs? So identify the zone areas we want to score runs from. Ideally, which batters would love to see her to take more of her deliveries, and that's where the accountability and responsibility comes from. And make sure if we go the attacking route or the defending route, we must make sure that we don't leave the other bowlers unheard, because what happens in then is that we're so focused on a couple of bowlers, but actually it was two or three other bowlers that got the better of us. So it's going to take a holistic approach, but I just think there again, I'll speak about accountability and responsibility, how much we're willing to take from them and when we will looking to attack them.
Okay. Some wonderful insights by both Dinesha and Dhanush about this exciting contest that we are going to witness tomorrow between New Zealand and South Africa. The match will be played on 17th of March, that is tomorrow. It will start at 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. The match will be played at the Seaton Park in Hamilton, and you can catch all the live action on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. So thank you once again, Dinesha, Dhanush, and Urvi for joining us in Female Cricket Live, and we'll be back again tomorrow at 8 p.m. to preview the match between West Indies and Bangladesh. So all the fans and viewers, you can send us your questions using hashtag Female Cricket Live and join us for a conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.